was a chilly morning for the most beautiful urban marathon in the country. But that didn't stop almost 7,000 runners from showing up at the starting line. For some, it was a chance to break the course record. But most of these athletes were just searching for a personal victory.
And now, WCCO Television Sports presents Twin Cities Marathon 87.
And good evening, everyone. I'm Pat Miles.
And I'm Tom Hanneman. Welcome to this special programming of I'm thinking about the Twins games, folks. I got to be honest with you right now. Welcome to this special program highlighting the 6th annual Twin Cities Marathon. I got that out.
There you go. Once again, the most beautiful urban marathon in the country proved to be an exciting race, and for the second year in a row, WCCO Television carried live coverage of the race from start to finish, of course.
It was one of the largest groups ever to compete in the Twin Cities Marathon, some 7,000 runners in all. Right now, let's turn the clock back to early this morning where it all began.
Marathon 87. This year's later start let the runners get a slight edge on the chilly morning hours. Some chose to wait indoors, and everyone seemed to be talking about the weather.
My hands are shaking, and I can't decide if it's because I'm nervous or because it's so cold out there.
This is the kind of weather I like. I run much better in the cold weather, so this is what I wanted.
There were feelings of anticipation and excitement in the air. Even the most seasoned runners had pre-race jitters.
I have butterflies in my stomach, and I use the bathroom probably 6 to 10 times before the race.
A little butterflies, ready for the race, though, in general.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
And then, the magic moment. It was a day of records. Record-breaking weather of 24 degrees at the start, and record-breaking performances at the finish. The battle for the men's championship heated up early on as a pack of 7 rotated the lead for 15 miles. That group was narrowed to 3 along West River Road as Mark Kerb, Paul Gompers, and Marty Freilich broke away. With 5 miles to go, Marty Freilich made his final move, taking the lead and holding it for his first Twin Cities Marathon title. The 29-year-old Colorado Springs native sliced 15 seconds off his personal best time with a clocking of 2 hours, 10 minutes, 58 seconds. 40 seconds ahead of Paul Gompers, the runner-up. Mark Kerb finished 3rd.
It started slowing down a little. Went around a curve at 15, and I decided, well, let's just kind of push a little harder. Didn't make a big move, but it kind of strung everyone out. And then Mark Kerb and Paul Gompers went with me. And I'll tell you what, the next 6 or 7 miles was no man's land.
At this point, things were also heating up in the women's competition. For 10 miles, defending champion Kim Rosenquist and Sylvie Bornet of France were locked in a fierce battle. But then Bornet made her move and never looked back. At 5'2", 98 pounds, Bornet is certainly not big, but she is powerful, as well as graceful and quick. As the race wore on, she remained relaxed while pulling further and further away. And when she had finished, Sylvie Bornet had smashed the course record by nearly 2.5 minutes. Her total time of 2 hours, 30 minutes, and 8 seconds was the 30th fastest marathon ever run by a woman.
It was very, very beautiful with the light and the weather are very nice.
You like the weather?
Yes, yes.
No wind?
All is good. It's the best marathon I never run.
Bornet finished 5.5 minutes ahead of Kim Rosenquist, her closest competitor. Gail Kingma was 3rd, while Sue Schneider of Minneapolis finished 4th. Other major winners today included Lori Binder, the women's Masters champion, in 2:41.14. Kjell Erik Stahl of Sweden defended his men's Masters title in 2 hours, 17 minutes, and 59 seconds. His 57th marathon under 2:20. Tammy Uthud captured the women's wheelchair competition, while a pair of Minnesotans, Bart Bardwell and Tony Purcell, took the finish line together in the men's wheelchair race.
As you saw in that story, it was truly an eventful marathon day, not only for the runners, but for all of us here at CCO Television.
We had 22 camera positions out on the course, so with an effort of this magnitude, there were bound to be a few hitches. But none of us expected to see this happen as our men's lead camera band passes mile 13. The men are just coming up now on
Our microwave operator, Tim McNeil, here in his gear became entangled in the aid station banner. The runners were able to go around our truck, and we're happy to report no one was injured.
But our camera did not fare so well. If you wondered what it looked like from the van's perspective, well, take a look.
By mile 21, look at that. So we could bring you the final 5 miles of Marty Freilich's victory.
And we are happy to report that there were no injuries, so everything's safe and the camera is back in action. Now, don't go away. We're going to be right back with more of the Twin Cities Marathon 87. Welcome back to our coverage of the Twin Cities Marathon 87. Every year, over 2,000 volunteers assist the runners during the marathon.
Many of them are located at aid stations along the course, sponsored by local companies who encourage their employees and families to help out. We want to update things real quickly here, Pat, before we get in. It is all over. In Detroit, the Twins have defeated the Tigers by a 5-3 score. We take a 3-1 lead over Detroit. That means tomorrow afternoon, we can wrap up the American League pennant and a trip to the World Series.
Can we just take a moment here to go, yeah!
All right, let's get back to the marathon.
All right, this year, WCCO Television held an aid station competition. At the end of the race, runners voted for their favorite station. Right now, let's take a look at what they had to choose from.
Water! Water! Water!
It's been said that running a marathon can be a lot like doing battle.
Hi, Mom.
Against Mother Nature, oneself, and, of course, the clock. Thanks to the 12 aid stations along the marathon route, runners are better prepared to go the distance.
Water! Water!
Manned by volunteers, these aid stations provide runners with water, medical help, and other necessities, like moral support.
Well, I think mostly we provide a sense of encouragement. We're here to yell and go crazy and let them know how special they are. Each of these runners is a hero.
Many of the aid stations go beyond the basics, from Inspiration Point at the 2.5-mile point to the Great Wall at mile 19. The runners appreciate the effort.
I thought they were really great. It helps a lot, and I love it when people are always around cheering me on and everything. It helps and keeps you going all along the race.
I thought they were very helpful, and I liked best the ones that had some entertainment to pep you up.
You're all looking great. Woo! All right.
Ask any of the 2,000 workers why they volunteer for marathon duty, and most give the same answer.
You're looking great out here, everybody.
Come on, I've never been in a marathon before. This is great.
I didn't expect so many people. I'd never been able to get up this early before, so on a Sunday morning.
All of us really got into it. It's fun. Very fun.
There you go, man. Keep it up. You're looking.
The winner of the aid station contest today was the one at mile 17 that was sponsored by the Pillsbury Company. And congratulations to all the volunteers who helped out there. That group, by the way, will receive a free dinner at a Twin Cities restaurant.
Well, at the beginning of a marathon, the runner's emotions are overwhelming. During the course of the race, these emotions go through highs and lows, up and downs, which there are many. This next story captures the agony and ecstasy of running a marathon.
The celebrated runner's high may never be higher than during the final minutes before the marathon begins. Ecstasy is evident on everyone's face. And while friends and fans cheer support from the sidelines, for many, that's where they'll remain. They rarely feel the force that powers these runners through the long, grueling course.
It's just the greatest feeling when you're finally done. You know what it's going to feel like. It's hard. You feel tired, but when you can come home and tell people, I ran 26.2 miles, they look at you like, holy cow, I can't believe you did that. But it's a really neat thing. They admire us.
Well, I think it's just knowing you can go beyond some threshold. It gives you really a good positive attitude after you've finished the marathon.
Since the highs are at the start and the finish of the race, then what remains in between is simply a test of each runner's own determination.
I could tell about the 6 mile mark. I just didn't have the energy today. Usually I glide. I enjoy the first 6, 8, 10 miles. But today I was a real struggle. I just don't have anything in my tank today. I was embarrassed and I was ashamed and sorry and disappointed because, you know, I didn't want to let myself down or some other people down.
How you doing?
Tired.
Fantastic. Feel great. How you feeling?
Mezzo. Hey, I'm almost halfway there. And so far I feel good. No aches, no pains, no nothing.
Mile after mile, each runner endures in their own style, racing beyond the limits.
My left hamstring's cramping up, so I'm hanging in there. I'm trying to force down some water. In fact, I could use a glass of water. I'll go as long as my body will go, you know. Why? So I want to finish, you know. To me, it isn't like you don't run and then get 22 miles and quit.
Doing fine.
Think you're gonna press on?
Oh, I've got to. Gotta
Yeah?
get that t-shirt.
You want? Everybody seems to be doing it for the T-shirt.
What else is there?
I like to finish. I need the t-shirt. See you later.
Whatever the inner motivation, the emotions of these 7,000 runners are in plain view at mile 26.2.
That's what I needed, someone to carry me over the line.
There's certainly more than a T-shirt involved with all the work that these people put in, the training, and then...
I don't know. I still have my T-shirt from Grandma. Never worn it.
It's a prized possession.
Saved it. Right.
All right, we'll be right back with more of the Twin Cities Marathon 87 after these messages.
And welcome back once again to the Twin Cities Marathon 87 coverage. Many of the runners out there today said that they just couldn't have done it without the crowds cheering them on.
Even with the below freezing temperatures early this morning, thousands of spectators, 200,000 in all estimated, showed up to cheer the marathoners on to victory, each with their own special style.
Well, the crowds are coming. We've already seen 4 other people.
Yeah.
And a dog.
And a dog.
Yes, from the quiet of the morning sun they came, lining the streets with enthusiasm and style.
We always play in the cold. It's invigorating. The surprising thing is that so many people run by here to listen to us. In shorts yet.
Some fans are new to the scene.
We're going to get him groomed up for about the class of 2025 here. It's going to be bionic by that time. He'll be running with the rest of the machines.
While others, such as the Babcocks from Hugo, Minnesota, are veteran fans.
Well, we have 5 boys, and all 5 run. Today, there's 2 running.
With 6 years' experience under their belts, the Babcocks have devised an effective means of communicating with their sons.
These flags are simple. We can see each other. They can see us, spot us real quick in the crowd.
In addition, they have developed a most sophisticated approach to cheering.
Our strategy is just to holler and whoop it up and give them a little encouragement.
For Linda and Dale Heron of Minneapolis, fan appreciation began 6 years ago when they moved to a home on the Parkway.
When we found out that the marathon ran in front of our house, we thought it'd be a great time to incorporate a party into a great sporting event. And I man the house. My husband's out on the front line with the cheering crowd.
My job is to serve the champagne, donuts, coffee, orange juice, anything these people desire.
Oh, I think it's great. We've been to this for a number of years, and everyone has a good time.
The students at St. Thomas College went all out this year for the race. A special fan aid station was set up, and students were encouraged to come out and be creative.
Got out of bed at Sunday morning, and we came down here to cheer them on.
We're wearing these designer togas today because we wanted to support the runners, and we thought this was a really good gimmick because Chariots of Fire was a really inspirational running movie.
Even baseball fans came out to cheer the runners to victory.
This is the marathon hanky, just like the Twins Homer hanky.
The encouragement from fans continued all through the course.
Look at, he's my uncle! Yeah! Woo!
And as runners approach the last leg of the race, the fans, with hoarse voices,
That's 26 miles. Look at that.
supportive words,
First place, where'd it go?
and welcomed hugs, just kept on cheering.
Good girl. Good legs. You did it. You did it in your time. Good glad it's over.
And they made it, and what a terrific group to cheer them on.
A lot of energy expended on the sidelines, not only on the course today. As you can tell from today's marathon stories, there's a lot of support for the runners before and during the race. But as you will see, that support does not end at the finish line.
The finish line. It's more than just friendly enthusiasm, though. Runners are encouraged to pick up refreshments at post-race stations to replenish fluids.
Well, we've got some spring water down here.
Perfect.
Probably that would be great.
And, of course, make a stop for the all-important commemorative T-shirt.
That means a lot. I finished it.
I don't think it's a shirt. I think it's this word, finisher, that says it all.
Though full medical services are available at the finish line, this year's race was relatively problem-free.
As far as medically, we've had much less injuries and injury-related problems this year than we've had in the past.
For plain old aches and pains, nothing can top a thorough massage. For the fourth year in a row, volunteers from Positive Body Dynamics gave weary runners relief.
Oh, they mean everything. This is great, honestly. This is the one thing, if I had to stand in line for 3 hours, I would have done it for this. Yeah.
It's awfully nice. It feels awfully good.
The biggest benefit to the athlete is it's going to eliminate a lot of lactic acid and the other toxins that build up after you use your muscles this hard.
It may seem hard to believe, but just a short while after running the 26.2-mile course, many of these exhausted runners were ready to dance to the music of the Rocking Hollywoods at a marathon celebration in the St. Paul Armory.
Pat, I know you'll agree one of the highlights of the day, certainly for us, was working with Catherine Switzer and Bill Rogers during the marathon. Great fun. And after our 3.5 hours of coverage, we all stood up and were a little bit sore, certainly not to the extent the runners were. And Bill said that to take care of his soreness, he was going to take a little jog with Dick Beardsley around noon. I asked him, what's a little jog, Bill, for you? 13 miles.
13. Around all of the lakes and then back again.
Right.
We're going to be right back to wrap up the Twin Cities Marathon 87. It's been fun covering the event, which, as we said, began early this morning for us, as well as many of the people here at WCCO Television.
Very early, in fact. We'd like to thank all of the technical crew, producers, directors, and production assistants who made this year's coverage possible.
And a special congratulations, of course, to all of the runners who competed in today's race, and especially the winners. And we thank you for joining us tonight. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
This WCCO television sports presentation has been brought to you by the Pillsbury Company, major sponsor of the Twin Cities Marathon.